Casey Carson, everybody. Casey!
All right. So well, that's interesting. All right. So give me a clap for all the people who are have kids in the room here. Okay. Now, who all has had the sex talk with their kids? Okay. All right. Okay. I got a woohoo. That's good. All right. So I think I've got two boys, and I'm always fascinated at the difference between the older, child and the younger child, and just how they process information. And so our oldest, his name is Catesby. And when he was little, we used to call him Professor Catesby, because he loved learning everything in like a super academic way. And then he'd go around lecturing everybody on everything he learned, and he'd use all these big words like cornucopia, oxymoron. He'd be like, Mommy, Daddy's acting weird. Is he intoxicated? The younger one, his name is Watson. He's more chill. He's more surfer dude. And very different than the older one. And now he liked using words he heard us using around the house. Like one time in preschool, they had to go around and all the kids had to come up with a word that started with S. And so they're going around, and it's like sand, sun, Sally. They get to Watson, and he goes, Sauvignon Blanc. Got a nice call from the school that day. Another time, this time they actually called us into the school. This was when he was in first grade. And they sit my wife and I down at this little table, and they're like, there was an incident today. Watson used the word dickheads. And I look at him, I'm like, where'd you ever hear that word? Why would you ever say that? And he looks at me dead in the eyes. He's like, Mommy says it like all the time. Most on her work calls. And we all look at my wife, and she's like, what? I work with a lot of dickheads. So on the way home from that Parent of the Year moment, my wife and I made a resolution that from that moment on, we would never, ever have any more kids. So I get home, and I start calling vasectomy clinics that day. I get one on, and I'm like, hello, I need an emergency vasectomy. I'm going to be in the city tomorrow between 12 and 1. Could I come by like 1:30, knock this thing out? They're like, sorry, sir, that's not how it works. Like, you need to come in, meet the doctor. We'll schedule your appointment. It's going to be like 6 to 9 months out. I'm like, that's not going to work for me. I got to shut this shit down now. So I keep calling, getting similarly frustrating answers. I tried calling Costco. I'm like, hello, I know you do eyes. Do you have any specials on, genitals, testicles, anything? Nothing. So I keep calling. I finally get this woman to take pity on me. And she was like, look, we actually could do it this weekend, but there's a catch. We've been looking for somebody who we could do a new procedure on, and we can film it for training and promotional purposes. And I'm like, well, I'm desperate. I'll take it. Now, I figured this would be like somebody with an iPhone, maybe a nurse with an iPhone. I show up. This is a true story, by the way. I show up to a 3-man camera crew, full lighting. This looked like a modeling shoot, right? There was a director. There was even a makeup lady, which was good because apparently my balls were throwing off too much camera glare. So now, I thought they would just knock me out, so why do I care? No, they just load me up with Valium, lay me down on this little table, and now the director goes, action. And now, the doctor's got to narrate this whole thing for the recording, right? So he's like, first step, you gently cup the first testicle, blah, 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 blah. The next step is we're going to make the incision. And then I hear this, psh, and he goes, that smoke is normal? I'm like, what smoke? What are you guys doing down there? Are you sure I shouldn't be sleeping for this? The director goes, cut! Sir, you have no speaking lines. Doctor, take 2. So he cups the second testicle and continues the procedure. Now, I don't know what they did with this video. I keep expecting to see my berries up on like I-94 on a billboard, maybe a promotional brochure or something. I put my copy on TikTok. It's got over 1 million views. At this point, my balls are more popular than I am. We're actually launching a podcast together called Testes 1, 2, 3, so tune into that. Now, So being the jokester that I think I am, I probably talked about getting snipped one too many times, and my son, the professor, started coming up with his own ideas on how babies are made. And so this is a verbatim conversation that my wife and I overheard one day. He's like, Watson, let me tell you where the babies come from. So, you know the balls, right? Those are called testicles. That's what Daddy and the dog don't have anymore, so they can't have any more babies. So they're filled with these little tadpoles, and when you kiss a girl, it swims up to your mouth, it goes over to her, goes down, she's got an egg, goes into the egg, a little while later, mommy poops out the baby. Now, my wife and I had very different reactions to this. I thought that was pretty good. I thought, good enough for me. We don't need, She was horrified that the professor was going to be rocking around town telling everybody this is how babies are made, and that maybe his dad doesn't have any testicles. So she's like, time to have the talk. So we get this book, and she sits him down, and we're going through it, and he's, the professor's being Mr. Know-It-All, and he's like, I know about the scrotum, Mom. I know about the ovaries. Then we get to the exciting part, and his eyes get wide, and he processes it pretty well. We get to the end, and he's like, that's it? He grabs the book, starts flipping through pages. He's like, where's the part about how you get the girls to like you? I was like, I look for that book forever. They do not make that book. And my wife is like, if they do, he has not read it. And my son, the little one, is like, well, when does the Sauvignon Blanc come in? I think he knows more about this than any of us. So now the professor's got to do some of his own field research. And so he starts going around to everybody he can meet and being like, have you had the sex? How many times have you had the sex? Where have you had the sex? My wife's afraid to go out in public with him. She's like, do not ask anybody about the sex. Meanwhile, we're in the grocery store, and I'm like, buddy, come here. Go over to that lady picking out cucumbers. Ask her how long it has been since she's had the sex. So now they leave me in the car. So a couple years go by, and our friends come over with their daughters. And their daughters, all these kids kind of grew up. The girls are a little bit older than my two boys. And actually, two of them are here today. They've all grown up now. So Maggie and Yana, raise your hands. So you can ask them. This is a true story. So they all stay up late into the night. And the next day, I'm watching TV, and the professor comes down. He's got this really serious look on his face. And he's like, Dad, can I ask you a really uncomfortable question? I'm like, sure, buddy. Come here. Sit down. What you got? It's like, so remember when you were telling us about the sex? You told us there's 2 holes down there. We were talking to the girls last night. They said there's actually 3 holes down there. And I could see he was about to freak out. And I'm like, wait, don't panic. Like, I don't think there's 3 holes down there. But to be honest, it's been a long time since I've been down there paying a lot of attention. So, like, let's go get that book, right? So we get the book, and I go to that page, and I'm like, okay, I see what they're going for here. Okay, technically, there is a very small 3rd hole for urinating. But, like, just don't freak out. This is a very inconsequential hole. And he goes, oh, God. I said, I was already worried about 2 holes. It's going to be dark now. There's 3 holes. Right then, his younger brother comes in, and he takes in the situation, and he's like, seriously? Are you talking about the 3 holes again? I told you. We've been doing this for millions of years. You will figure it out when you get there. And to me, this is the difference between a firstborn and a secondborn. Firstborn needs very clear instructions. So a diagram, maybe a flow chart. Secondborn's gonna vibe it out, try all the holes till he gets it right. Probably with the help of some Sauvignon Blanc. Thank you very much. That's my set.
Keep it going, everybody. Casey Carson. Come on. Son of a gun. God, we had people fly in from South Dakota to see him. That's